Far 74-year-old man sat across from me in my office. His hands were shaking, not from Parkinson's, not from illness, but from something else, something quieter. He looked straight at me and said, "I didn't know. I didn't realize I was hurting myself." And unfortunately, he's not alone. I'm Dr. Mohit Kara, a urologist and men's health specialist with more than 30 years of experience helping men maintain their vitality, confidence, and connection, especially as they age. And today, I want to talk to you about something most doctors avoid: what really happens when older men masturbate, and how to do it in a way that protects your health, your mind, and your dignity. You've been told masturbation is normal, that it's harmless, even that it's healthy. And in many ways it can be. But what nobody told you is that after a certain age, how you do it starts to matter more than whether you do it. In this video, I'm going to share 5 critical truths, things older men wish they had learned sooner, insights that could protect your circulation, preserve your prostate, and even reignite your sense of self. And I want you to stick around until the end, because the last one might just shift the way you view aging, intimacy, and your own body forever. Before we dive in, if you're new here and care about honest, age-specific health advice, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. I create content specifically for men over 60. No gimmicks, no shame, just the truth. Also, if this topic resonates with you, let me know in the comments. Type 1 if you're with me, 0 if not. Your feedback helps shape these conversations and lets me know what really matters to you. Let's start with the first truth, one that reshaped the lives of so many of my patients once they understood it. Secret number 1. Your erection isn't the whole story anymore, and that's perfectly okay. I'll never forget when a 72-year-old man looked me in the eye and said, "Doc, I can't do what I used to. Does that mean I'm not a man anymore?" That hit me hard, and it's not the first time I've heard it. So many men come into my office scared, frustrated, ashamed. They're noticing changes, maybe things take longer to get going, or their erections aren't as firm or dependable. And too many of them jump to one heartbreaking conclusion: I must be broken. But let me tell you something I wish every man over 60 had heard earlier. You are not broken. You are evolving. As we get older, our bodies change. Blood flow decreases. Hormones fluctuate. Nerves take longer to respond. What once happened on autopilot now takes time and intention. And that's not failure, it's nature. Here's the part no one told you growing up. Your sexuality doesn't have to end just because your body operates differently. You can still feel desire. You can still give and receive pleasure. You can still feel like a man. The problem is, most of us were raised to think being a man meant being hard, fast, and ready. The world equated masculinity with performance. No one ever said, "Hey, you know what matters more? Connection, presence, patience." So when things start to change, we panic. We think something essential has been lost. But what's really happening is an invitation to slow down, to rediscover, to redefine what intimacy means. I've had patients who went years without touching themselves because they thought they couldn't do it anymore. But when they finally gave themselves permission to try, without pressure, without performance expectations, they found something even deeper than before. Here's a powerful truth: orgasm and erection are not the same thing. You can still experience intense release, emotional intimacy, and physical satisfaction, even without the rigid erections you had at 25. It might feel different, but it can be just as real, just as good, maybe even better. Because now, it's not about proving anything, it's about feeling everything. So let go of the old scorecard. This stage of life isn't about performance, it's about presence. When you stop chasing what was and start exploring what is, something powerful happens. You stop being afraid of change, you start embracing it. And that brings us to the next secret, one that goes even deeper than physical pleasure. Secret number 2. Masturbation isn't just sexual, it's emotional and neurological. Let me tell you about Howard. He's 77, a retired veteran. He came to me not because he was in pain, but because, in his words, "I just don't feel anything anymore." At first we talked about his physical health, but the more we spoke, the more it became clear. His real struggle wasn't in his body. It was in his heart, in his spirit. He'd been masturbating almost every night. Not because he felt aroused, not because he wanted sex, but because it was the only thing that helped him sleep. The only time he felt calm, the only time he felt something. Over time, it had become less about desire and more about survival. This is what I want more men to understand. Masturbation, especially later in life, isn't just a sexual act. It's a deeply emotional one. It taps into your brain, your mood, your nervous system. After orgasm, your body releases powerful chemicals: dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin. These aren't just pleasure hormones. They help regulate sleep. They calm anxiety. They reduce feelings of loneliness. For many older men, especially those who live alone, masturbation becomes one of the few remaining ways to feel a sense of peace and connection. But here's the thing: if it becomes a habit done mindlessly without awareness or intention, it can start to lose meaning. That's what happened to Howard. The ritual stayed, but the connection disappeared. We were never taught to feel. We were taught to fix, to be strong, to hold it in. So when you reach out to touch yourself, it might not be about lust at all. It might be your body asking for comfort, reassurance, presence. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. The danger isn't in the act. The danger is in doing it without understanding what you're really reaching for. When you bring presence into the moment, when you actually feel your body, notice your breath, acknowledge what's really going on inside, you turn that moment into something healing, grounding, real, and yes, even at your age, that kind of connection still matters. Maybe now more than ever. If that secret surprised you, the next one might shock you. Because if not touching yourself can cause problems, what happens when you stop altogether? In part 2, we'll explore why ignoring your sexual self might be doing more harm than good, and how you can gently bring it back. Secret number 3. Suppressing your sexuality can silently sabotage your health. Here is something most men don't realize. Your body never actually gives up on sexuality. It waits, it adapts, but it doesn't shut down unless you shut it down. Let me introduce you to Sam. Sam is 81 years old, fit, sharp mind, still rides his bike 3 times a week. But when I met him, he hadn't masturbated or had any sexual release at all in over 15 years. When I asked him why, he shrugged and said, "Didn't see the point anymore." But as we kept talking, something deeper came up. His wife had passed years earlier. He felt guilty touching himself without her. He felt shame, like somehow it meant he'd moved on. So he buried that part of himself, pushed it down. But here's the problem. When you disconnect from your sexuality, you don't just lose pleasure. You start losing circulation too. Let's talk science for a moment. Your penis isn't just for sex. It's part of your vascular system. Erections are a sign that blood is flowing well, nerves are firing, and tissues are healthy. But just like unused muscles atrophy, so do the tissues in your penis if they aren't regularly exercised. Think of it like this. If you stopped walking for a year, your legs wouldn't just stay the same. They'd weaken, shrink, lose function. Same goes for your sexual organs. And it's not just about blood flow. Sexual activity, even solo, helps regulate testosterone, balance stress hormones, and protect prostate health. In fact, several studies show that regular ejaculation may reduce your risk of prostate issues, including cancer. I'm not saying you need to keep some rigid schedule. This isn't about performance. It's about keeping things alive, awake, functional. When I gently encouraged Sam to start reconnecting with his body again, not out of obligation but out of self-care, something amazing happened. He came back a few months later and said, "Doc, I didn't realize how much I missed me." That's the part no one tells you. Sexuality isn't about someone else. It's about staying connected to yourself, your aliveness, your body, your energy. Because the moment you start acting like you're too old to feel, your body starts believing it. Which brings us to a difficult but necessary truth. Secret number 4. The way you masturbate can damage your body or heal it. You've probably never heard a doctor say this, but I'm going to be blunt. Most older men masturbate in ways that are hard on their bodies. Quick, rushed, tight grip, always the same routine, no breath, no movement, no connection. This worked when you were 18 because your body was more forgiving. Your tissues were more elastic. Your circulation was stronger. But now, That same death grip and 10-second finish could be contributing to nerve desensitization, vascular strain, and even erectile dysfunction. It's like taking an old car and constantly flooring the gas pedal. Eventually, something gives out. The fix isn't to stop, it's to change how you do it. Here's what I recommend to my patients. Slow down. Take 5 times as long as you normally would. Let your body feel again. Use lube. Dry stimulation causes micro tears in older skin. Lube protects and enhances sensation. Loosen your grip. If you've ever needed harder pressure to feel the same result, you might be numbing your nerve endings. Engage your breath. Deep breathing increases circulation and sensitivity. Try different rhythms. Relying on one repetitive motion trains your body to only respond to that. Variety brings back sensation. And one more thing, touch the rest of your body. Seriously. Stroke your chest, your thighs, your neck. Rediscover what it feels like to feel. This isn't about being weird. It's about restoring circulation, sensation, and yes, pleasure in ways that support your health instead of draining it. Your body deserves better than just a quick release, which leads us to the final and maybe most powerful secret. Secret 5. Self-pleasure can be a spiritual practice. I know that might sound strange at first, but stay with me. There's something that happens when a man reaches his 60s, 70s, or 80s. He starts to feel invisible, disconnected, like the world has moved on, and he's stuck watching from the sidelines. And many men internalize that. They stop reaching for joy, stop exploring, stop caring for themselves. But what if I told you that touching your own body, gently, intentionally, with love, could be a quiet act of rebellion against that invisibility? That every time you choose to feel instead of numb, every time you breathe deeply instead of rushing, every time you honor your own body instead of judging it, you reclaim a part of yourself that the world told you was gone. That's what self-pleasure can become. Not just a habit, but a ritual. Not just an urge, but an act of self-respect. When you stop viewing masturbation as something shameful, embarrassing, or adolescent, and instead see it as a way to stay connected to your vitality, everything shifts. You don't have to prove anything, you don't have to perform, you just have to show up for yourself. That's the message I want every older man to hear. You're not past your prime. You're just learning to live by a new rhythm. And that rhythm, if you let it, can be richer, deeper, more meaningful than anything you knew at 30. If this video resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let's break the silence around this topic, because the more we talk, the more we heal. And if you'd like a follow-up video on specific techniques or how to navigate this with a partner, just let me know. I'm here for you. Until next time, stay connected, stay curious, and stay alive. You deserve it. When I released part 1 and part 2, I had no idea how many people would watch them or how many would stay until the end. But the response truly surprised me. Many men reached out, some left comments, others sent private messages or emails. Some just said, "Thank you." Some shared personal struggles, and quite a few simply wrote, "I thought I was the only one." You are not. You are not alone. Today I want to respond directly to the kinds of questions many men over 60 or 70 are quietly carrying. No sugarcoating, no avoidance, just real talk. Question 1. I have not felt desire in a long time. Does that mean it is all over for me? No, it does not. But you may need to redefine what desire means at this stage in life. It may not feel like the intense urges of your 30s. Now, it might be the gentle joy of holding someone's hand, recalling a warm memory, or simply feeling a quiet stirring in your heart. The body moves through seasons. Winter does not mean spring is gone forever. You are not out of fuel. You might just need a little more oxygen. Question 2. I feel guilty about pleasuring myself. Is that normal? Completely normal, especially if you grew up in a religious or strict household. Many of us were taught that self-pleasure was shameful. But think about it like this. When you are hungry, you feed yourself. When you are sore, you stretch or massage your own body. So why should caring for your sexual self be treated any differently? Self-touch, when done with respect and mindfulness, is not dirty. It is a form of self-respect. Question 3. I can no longer get an erection. Does that mean I am broken? Not at all. It simply means your body is changing, and it always has been throughout your life. You are not broken. You are human. What you might need now is a new perspective, a new rhythm, and sometimes new support, physically, emotionally, or even medically. But your ability to give and receive intimacy is far from over. Most older men have been trained over decades to be silent, to be tough, to never show weakness. We were taught to solve problems, not feel them, to keep moving, even when we were hurting. That kind of mindset may have helped us survive work, war, hardship, and loss, but it came at a cost, especially when it comes to aging and intimacy. Many men carry quiet shame about their changing bodies, about lost relationships, about sexual performance or the lack of it. But shame thrives in silence. It grows heavier the longer we carry it alone. What if instead we told the truth? The truth is, you are not less of a man because you no longer perform like you did at 30. You are not broken because your body takes longer to respond. And you are not a burden because you have emotional needs. In fact, opening up to those needs, being honest about your fears, your desires, your struggles, that is not weakness. That is strength. Here is what I want to say to every man listening. You are not past your prime, you are just in a different season. A slower one maybe, a quieter one, but still full of depth, full of potential, and full of value. You do not have to carry your pain in silence anymore. It is not too late to change how you see yourself, or how you connect with others. You can let go of old stories, the ones that say men are only worth something if they are strong, silent, or sexually dominant. That version of masculinity is outdated. What matters now is authenticity, kindness, curiosity, and connection.